something new for your hall table. It's quite possibly the easiest fresh flower arrangement you will ever make, and it will not wilt after just 1 week. We're making an ice bucket centerpiece from potted flowers that will last. Lauren Oviatt is here to explain. You're here, you're beautiful, the blooms are here, they are beautiful. It feels like a good start.
I will force spring here by dressing this way and bringing all these things to you.
If we will it, it will come, right? If we build it, it will come. So what is this ice bucket centerpiece really all about?
So this stemmed from me having a container that I wasn't using, and I thought, oh my gosh, if I could fill it with some beautiful things that will last, it will make such a beautiful focal point for any space.
This is a gorgeous container. I wouldn't look at this though and at first blush think floral vase. So what makes a good vessel? What makes a good container?
So this is great because it actually doesn't drain. So you are safe to put it on a coffee table or a kitchen island without water seeping through. So it holds the water, but it's got a really big, nice size. So we have a couple big 6-inch pots here, and with your permission, I'll just go ahead and start making it.
Oh my gosh, please. And the catch here is the plants stay in the pots.
They do. So this is not my career. I mean, I do a lot of this kind of thing for my clients, but this is as simple as it gets. These are 6-inch pots. I'm literally just taking the hydrangeas and putting them in the bucket. These ferns that I found happen to fit perfectly here too.
So you're kind of just jamming them in there.
I'm just jamming them in there, and then this one goes in the very front. But look at how beautiful that is. And
so the goal is for it to be snug and cozy and
tight. And I think that's kind of the beauty of shopping for things that are more full and pretty, because you're not really seeing the pot. But I mean, we're done.
We're done.
I know we have like 5 more minutes to talk about this thing, but
just like that.
So some other things that really make it a little bit more professional looking is if you have sheet moss, which you can find at lots of different craft stores, but you want to soak it. And then
immerse it, or how do we care for it?
When I got here, I just kind of soaked it with water, so it's wet.
Okay, okay.
And you can put it kind of right in these little spaces to cover the pots.
But no soil, no additional soil.
Nope, no additional soil. And what happens with the moss is it will keep the soil wet. So you can just give this hydrangea and fern. They actually need about the same amount of water, but see how much better it looks just with that little pop of coverage in there? It makes it look like it came from an expensive florist.
It totally does. It's like a green tablecloth of sorts. It's just filling in those patches, those dark areas, open areas. Do you like the brighter moss too?
So this brighter moss is called reindeer moss, and it is lethal. So if you look at it, I can already just stain my finger.
Like
okay.
You've got cute yellow fingertips
I know,
right
so
now.
it's pretty, but if you need it, you know, you can tuck it in, and you can pin, you can take little T-pins and secure the moss if you need to. But with an arrangement like this where I have found hydrangea and fern that are really full, you're not really looking into the bottom of it anyway.
Right. It's more about the overall appearance. Where are you getting moss?
So you can buy dried moss at any craft store like Michael's or Joann's. I actually got this from a wholesale florist in an entirely huge box of moss, just dried moss. So you rehydrate it, and I mean, this was dry for a month, and then I've just rehydrated it today, and you can break it up so that if you have a smaller container, you can use what you need, but it's really beautiful, and again, it sort of makes it look more designer and more custom.
More full. And you say this isn't your career, although your design eye lends yourself to something like this, a creation like this. Talk to us about scale and proportion when it comes to the actual container versus the flowers.
Yes. So, I mean, what we have here is we have about double the height of the container here. So in any floral arranging class you might take, they'd say, okay, so the rule of thirds. So if you have 1/3 that's your vase, then the next 2/3 are your flowers. So the scale is really good here. When we talk about shopping for things that go together, I mean, there's no more classic combination than green and white, but I love the way that the hydrangea really has the presence, but the maidenhair fern that's in front, it's feathery, but it adds kind of a limey green texture. So it plays like the supporting actor role, but it has its own presence too, so it really makes a beautiful sort of 360-degree, really lovely arrangement.
It's gorgeous, and it fits into the category of semi-homemade florals, doesn't it? I mean, you purchased, you placed, and you're done.
Yeah, and I mean, these are 6-inch pots, which it's not the best time of year to find this kind of thing, but let's say that I lost one of the maidenhair ferns, it died. All I have to do is go out and buy 2 more, or maybe 1 more if you're feeling really adventurous, but you have the ability to take out and put back in without disrupting the entire thing.
Now, since you brought up the count, I was kind of intrigued to see you reach for even numbers, balanced numbers of plants, because usually designer types like yourself are saying go for odd numbers. Why does this work in the even count?
It works for me because the hydrangeas have their own bloom structure. So we actually, I mean, we have 3 blooms here.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
5 over here. I think that kind of boiled down to just the size. So if if you're nervous about shopping, then measure your container before you go. And if you find 3-inch pots and you have a 15-inch container, then you know you can fit 5.
You've got a smaller container here. You say the same principle works, so you're going to show us how to stagger the height a little bit.
So what happens in a container like this at the bottom, it's totally your business. So yes, I just told you that this is not my profession, but I had a little Tupperware. So in order to make this system, this floral work, I put a Tupperware in the bottom, and all I'm going to do is
technical, isn't it? I mean, to place a Tupperware right in the center.
So, and the key here too is like, don't use something that's cardboard or paper, because then it gets wet and then you're in trouble. But it's great. So the water can just drain to the bottom.
Yes.
But all I'm doing now, again, I have 2 and 2. Because that's kind of what worked for this pot.
That's what fits.
I mean, look at that.
Stop it, look. You could patch it if you wanted with the moss like you showed us, but done and done.
So easy.
Suddenly we're an expert floral designer, all in our own right, in our own home, and I think great to pull off for a big party when you don't have time to maybe pull in fresh florals.
Absolutely, because we all have mixing bowls or ice buckets or some kind of container that's never being used.
Yep. What flower is this? Do we know?
This is called, oh my gosh, it's like a little purple.
It's a pretty little purple.
I just read it before we started. Campanula.
Okay, we say yes to the Campanula. This is really fun.
So
now
cool.
you say, again, this isn't your expertise, although I would beg to differ, and it is a fun side hobby that you've used to kick up a fun series online, and there's some other floral inspirations we can find there on your Instagram.
Yeah, so about every weekend I try to go shopping and find whatever inspires me, and I've just tagged it Weekend Bloom, so it's Lauren's Weekend Blooms, but I just have fun. Like I said, I occasionally will be inspired by something to pull together an arrangement for a client, but frequently I'm just kind of messing around in the kitchen and having fun with texture and color and things that really inspire me.
It's so fun to see. She puts together these videos that are fantastic, and each week kind of brings on a different look for a different event or occasion, so you can dial that up on your Instagram.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at. This week, we'll look forward to this tutorial. Describe what you did here.
Okay, so this was kind of fun because where some of my followers will say, oh, how do you get the highs and lows? How do you do this? This was so simple. I literally took the vase, I made a bouquet with each type of flower that I found, and I shoved it in one at a time.
So 3 mini bouquets in one.
Yeah, 3 mini bouquets. So instead of saying, oh, I put all my tulips in and then I have to kind of sporadically put in the filler and the greenery, and how do I do that? How do I make it look dome-shaped? Just kind of go for that avant-garde type. I'm taking ownership of it, and this is how I'm going to do it. It's going to look fabulous, and it did. I mean, the thing was just chock full of flowers, but it couldn't have been simpler.
You watch those little clips on her Weekend Bloom series, and you do feel like you can be the florist at home. So thanks for that inspiration.
Of course.
We'll link you over to Lauren's Instagram page from our website, too, to make it easy so every weekend you, too, can look forward